Welcome to Total Wellness, healing for the mind, body, spirit, and soul.
People saying this, people saying that, but as a matter of fact, homie, you don't know me. You don't know me.
Hello, and welcome to Total Wellness. I am your host, Diamoness, and today we have a very important and a very special guest on the show, none other than the Ronald Williams. Most of you know him by DJ CHOC from GS Radio, Glory Songs Radio, and we are here live at the studio in Rochelle Park, New Jersey.
Rochelle Park.
And I'm just so excited and so honored to be able to have the privilege to interview him on the show today. So welcome, CHOC. Welcome. Thank you so much for being on the show today. So today, for those of you who are just watching the show for the very first time, this is your very first episode. This is Total Wellness, where we talk about the mind, the body, the spirit, and the soul. So how does CHOC fit into today's show? Well, we need to learn how to balance. We need to learn the ins and outs of not only running a business, but being able to balance your family life, your personal life, and everything else that goes along with it. The station, all of your employees, your responsibilities. But I first want to get a little bit of background information into how this even all started. You're also a DJ. You have 2 locations from what I understand. How did this even begin?
Well, first, I'm a musician, I'm a drummer. I actually got into drums because my father played drums. So I wanted to have something in common with him. So that lasted all throughout school and high school. And once I got to high school, I joined the band. Marching band. I was involved in steel drums, jazz ensembles, chorus, anything that had to do with music. I found myself involved with it. And that was good because the teachers that I had, Mr. Joseph Daly, Mr. Herbert Ashley, Mr. Greenberg, Mr. Murphy, Mr. Wallace Richardson. All of them, at the time you're young, you don't know, or understand half of the things that they're telling you. But as you get older, it's like, wow, okay, they took the time to basically instill a lot of stuff in us, as young kids growing up, that you take along the way. So, once, I graduated high school, I went to school for media. And I had this big thing, I'm going to be this big time producer. It was. Shout out to Center of the Media Arts, which was in Manhattan.
Nice.
I don't even think they're there no more, but that's a school that I chose to go to. So, before, that was in high school. But high school, I also took a liking to DJing.
Okay.
Shout out to actually my cousin, we call him Peanut.
Peanut?
Yeah.
Shout out Peanut.
He brought his equipment over to my house.
Okay.
And I was in the basement for like 2 days straight. I just would come up to go to the bathroom and go right back down there. And once I got to high school, another guy that took me under his wing was Fernando. His name's Nando Max. But in the band room, he was playing, and he was doing this cut called a stutter cut. So he was taking the fader and like I'm talking to you, he was just doing it. He was talking to somebody, and there was no mistakes or nothing. So it was like, oh man, I have to learn how to do that. also it was a way for me to get outside the house.
Okay.
My mother was very strict with me, so this was like, okay, if I start to DJ and getting a little money, you know, this is my way to get out the house.
Yeah.
So I did what every DJ, you know, did back then. Carry the crates, you know, pay the dues, basically. So then I got my chance to get on. I flopped, you know, but over time it was practice. And then I went out there my senior year and just started doing it myself.
Wow.
So that's how the whole DJ thing came along. You know, I was brought into my life.
And how was the music different then compared to the music now?
Well, and we have this conversation all the time. But in the other studio, I have actually my cousin's records, Peanuts Records. He's passed. He's been going for over 10 years now, more. But the records basically tell a story. You know, you had your Ice Cubes that was from the West Coast. You had your Wu-Tangs, East Coast. You had Public Enemy, which was East Coast, but they were speaking on what was going on in the world. You had Biz Markie, you know. You had Big Daddy Kane. You had Snoop Dogg, you know. So, and others. So in the other studio, I have the records all the way around, on the ceilings, on the walls, this and that. So it actually tells the story of the art, you know, even reggae, you know, stuff like that, R&B. But I think to answer your question, the difference in the music is that back then they wasn't just sticking to one sound. Everybody had their own unique style.
Yes,
and if you bit off of it, meaning if you did it over and over and over, then you wasn't considered back then a true artist or original, you know, because you was biting off their style. But now it seems like this is all right. Because everybody just
trending.
sounds the same. So I think that was one of the big differences from back when I got it. You know, I got into it up until this point.
Okay. Wow. So we talked about how you got into the world of music and the DJing, but how did you end up having all of this? I mean, do you guys see the studio? It is gorgeous. It's absolutely incredible. Like, how did you go from there to here?
Well, in time, you know, time was, you know, things change. And here we come into this technology world of computers, and another person that I've, you know, still call for information. His name is Henry Gibson.
Okay.
His company was Sound.
Okay.
You know, so he provides big sound systems for Funkmaster Flex, all them type guys. You know, lighting and you know, Soundguard and Soundguard Entertainment. You know, but anyway, he called me and said, I want you to go check this out. So I said, what is it? He said, it's an internet radio station. And this was back in 2008.
Oh, wow.
So I went down there and checked it out. And one thing he told me, he said, look, if you get in there, learn everything that you can.
Okay.
Because once you learn it, you can't take it from you.
Oh, wow.
So I said, got it? You know, because I met him when I was 17.
Yeah.
So now you figure 2008.
Yeah.
I'm older now, but I'm still being taught. You're never gonna be old, you know, too old to learn anything.
Yeah.
So I went down, and that station was called 99.3 The Joint. Daryl Jordan was the owner.
Okay.
And I went in there as a DJ. and had to go through what I had to go through. They called me back and said, okay, we want you to come down. So I had my first internet show on there for like 2 hours. I was straight DJing, and I didn't tell them that I knew how to run boards or anything before school.
Yeah.
So what happened with that was once I got there, this is when I said, oh, well, I know how to do boards. I went to school for it. So then I wound up doing the morning shows.
Okay.
That's where I met Marlon Randolph, who's a funny, brilliant comedian. The late Todd Lynn, who's another funny, seasoned comedian. He was actually on Damon Wayne's Wife and Kids, and stuff like that. I met Mark Theobald, who's another comedian. He's actually writes with Tracy Morgan.
Oh my gosh.
I met Dr. Jeff, who is everywhere. You see Dr. Jeff everywhere. I met Rick Younger, who's another brilliant comedian, but you see him in different commercials and this and that, and other people, basically. And it's like, okay, I'm sitting there and it's like, wow. I mean, Dr. Jeff, he was, I seen him on Maury, but to know what he's was doing, I didn't know back then what I know now. So it's like, wow, this was like a melting pot of people that was actually in the industry, and just willing to teach. So that was like, okay. So what happened to bring us up to this point was things wasn't done right at the station, and everybody just dispersed. But I kept in contact with them and said, I was thinking about it because we was the ones that was running the station. The owner, he was the owner. Like some owners do. They just have the capital and the this and that, and everybody else does it. So when everybody else just left, dispersed, I kept in contact with them and said, if I start my own, would you guys support? Of course, CHOC. We got you. Just let us know. So from there, that's when we found out that my other half, she was pregnant with. She was pregnant, and the baby at the time we didn't know, but when she did the test, we found out that he was. Would have Down syndrome. So I really went into that mode of saying, okay, we didn't know how severe it was going to be. But I told Nisi that I really want to start this because I don't foresee if the severity of his diagnosis that any job will put up with. You have to go back and forth to the doctors and this and that with the child. So I started it, once I found out that she was, we found out she was pregnant. So that's how I keep up with how long I've been doing this. He's 11 now, going to be 12.
Oh wow!
So this is 12 years. So this was actually birthed along with him. So that's how we all.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Shout out to Daryl Joyner, 99.3 The Joint, for, start his, and then basically I just learned what I, learned and took it and ran with it.
And see, that's so powerful what you said about being able to learn in the atmosphere that you're in. Even, like, I'm a secretary, I work in an engineering office. So even though I'm secretary, being there for almost 15 years, I know everything you need to know about purchasing property, buying a house, what to look for when you're purchasing a property. They taught me how to read some of the engineering plans, some of the architectural plans. Wherever you are, if you're surrounded by greatness, if you're surrounded by a wealth of knowledge, don't just be there. Learn from everyone around you. Learn to ask questions. If you're in an atmosphere where you're not really allowed to speak, or you don't want to interrupt what's going on, pay attention, because you never know how priceless that information is and how it can benefit you in your future. There's a lot of things that I've learned in that office that people have gone to school for, people have gotten degrees in, but because I was sitting in that chair asking questions, listening to the guys talk when a resident comes in, I have gained so much information. I've been able to not only help my own life, but to be able to help the lives of my friends and my family around me. So I think that is just so brilliant and such an incredible thing that you were able to do, and everything that you learned, you're able to use it now and to help your business flourish. So how did you come up with the GS Glory Songs radio name?
Actually, Gyroscope was actually supposed to be a production company.
Oh, okay.
I used to dib and dab, and I was in a group.
Yeah.
Shout out to Damon Downs, Master Smooth One, Vaughn Light, Vaughn Swing, and myself. I was Mr. Chocolate. But you know, life happens. You know, Vaughn and Mama moved to Florida.
Yeah.
Damon and his family moved to North Carolina and stuff like that. But they came back up to Jersey. I was the only one that stayed. Yeah. So the original thing was we were supposed to put together a production company. With Damon, he's just a beast. Yeah, he knows I get on him all the time with not doing certain things, but that's what it was. We was talking. I was like, yo, it's like a 360. Yeah. I stayed here, and you know, Vaughn is down there, but he and him and his family just 360. They came back to what's the name. So if you look up the meaning of gyroscope, you know, you're on one axle. Any way you go, it's still going to come back to that nucleus. So, but once again, life situations happen. So then, you know, once I went down to Darryl, you know, station, I was like, well, I gotta start this. You know, it still could be a production company, but there could be other things that's even with helping with it. Yeah. So I just said, you know, GS Radio, Gyroscope Radio.
That's awesome.
That's how that was born.
And I love the logo. I think the logo is dope.
Yeah, you know, it started off with just the buildings, you know. Yeah. And it was different, and then as time went on, it said, well, let me, you know, like actually this, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
But
we'll zoom in. We'll put a clip.
This one, it was started off like this.
Okay.
You know, but then later on, it was enhanced and.
Yeah, I love it.
And brought up to date. So.
I love it. So you've been doing this thing called Unsigned Hype. And those of you who don't know yet, like I said, if this is the first time you're watching the show, I'm also an artist, and I've been a beneficiary of being able to be on the show. So tell us about this Unsigned Hypes, because you know you're helping so many lives, not only with the different. I mean, there's such a versatile amount of shows that are on, but not only educating the world, but you're also helping to give artists a platform, unsigned artists a platform to have their music played worldwide. So can you tell us about that, and how can people get on the show?
Well, Unsigned, like you said, it's a show that is structured for artists of any genre of music to send us their music. And for us to play it over the airwaves. We are heard in 199 countries. Oh, wow. So it's you know, it's no box. We're not in a box like if you was on a dial and you only could get a certain area. We're worldwide. And I had that vision for that show for a while, because before this, I was doing the actual showcases, putting the shows together, having the artists come out. I wasn't charging like some people do, not to knock their hustle, but I felt like, you know, this was a, you know, it was a event where the artists could come and work out. You know, being a DJ, you don't get right
Yeah.
You don't get it right there. You have to do gigs or you have to practice
Yeah.
to be able to get to a certain point. Even
Yeah.
now, I criticize myself when something is not right within myself. The client, they can say, "Oh, it's good," but it's
Yeah.
like, no, you know. So
You have your own standard.
right. So to be able to provide, you know, an event, a platform for the artists to be able to get their stuff out, because it's totally different. You can go and do a song in the studio,
Yeah.
and that's that. But if you go out and perform it, if you don't know about performance,
It's totally different.
it's crazy. And
It's
I
totally
think a
different.
lot of things now with A&R, I don't think there's a lot of A&Rs teaching and grooming these artists on how to do that. They're
Yes,
just looking
yes.
at how many hits you got,
Yeah,
this and
the
that,
numbers.
blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
and so forth. So with coming up with, you know, the Unsigned Hype, the show, it's just still another platform in order for, you know, people to get their stuff out.
Yeah.
And actually, when we started off, we was charging. People, you know, some people paid, you know, a lot of people didn't. But once we switched it up and, you know, said we just gonna run with it, then everybody's just like flooded. So it's actually a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I was working on setting up with another company. It's called RedHipHop.com.
Okay.
Distribution deals. So it's going to go hand in hand with the Unsigned Hype thing. So once I finish that, then I'll let everybody know, you know, what the deal is. And
That's
that'll be that.
awesome. And I have to say this, those of you who watch my show, you know I speak my mind, that's why we're here. I have to say this because it is so frustrating for me. As an artist, this is not supposed to be taken lightly. Like, you have an opportunity to be on a radio station. You have an opportunity to be on a TV station. You have an opportunity to get your music out there. But I've noticed that there's a lot of people who don't want to pay $5. They don't want to pay the $10. They don't want to pay $25. But if you were to get that same recognition and advertising elsewhere, it would cost you thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands of dollars.
And not to knock their hustle, you know, not to knock their hustle. I mean, that's what they charge, and that's what the people, you know, the people pay. But
Yeah.
you know, I mean, my motto is that, you know, we're gonna get it either way. You know, and with doing it, you know, hopefully you guys are doing or covering yourself when your music is being played.
Yeah.
Meaning copyright your stuff before you
Yes.
even send it out to anybody.
Yes.
You know, that's very important, very important. So,
Yes.
well, it's on Monday through Friday now,
Yeah.
3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. And it's hosted by Mr. Rashid Gomes,
Go ahead, Rashid.
who also has a show where he interviews the artists on Saturdays, which is called the Rashid Gomes Show, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So if someone does want to be on the show, even on Rashid's show, or they want to get in touch with you and, you know, talk about being on the Unsigned Hype, how can they find you? How can they reach out to you?
You just shoot us an email, gs.wkdr@gmail.com. You know, in the subject, if you want your music played, just attach your music. What we ask is, you know, to tell us where you're from, you know, the correct pronunciation of your name, because some of them, they have their unique way of spelling their names.
Yes.
And, you know, we stumbling like a couple times. We stumble like, I don't know what it is. You know, but we're just gonna say this. But you know, that's the best way to get to us is the email. And if you want to be an artist and, you know, want to have an interview on the shows, just say I'm, you know, interested in an interview. Leave your number where we could contact you, and then things will be, you know, set up. Either most likely Rashid would be the one calling to do all of that.
And are you open to, because I've heard a variety of different genres. Are you looking for all types of artists?
All
or
types. I mean,
specifically?
I don't, being a DJ, or being an artist, not even a DJ, because some DJs, we like what we like, and if you don't like it, we don't have it in our repertoire. But with this and being radio, and with it being worldwide, you have to be open.
Yes,
I might not like something, but 20,000 people might like it. So why would I stop that?
Yes.
Just because I don't like it. It might grow on me, it might not. You're not going to like everything. But, if you go to the site now, gsradionj.com, there's all types of different music that plays throughout, unless we have a live show. But if we're not live, then there's something constantly going on, and it's different genres of music.
So I just wanted to mention this really quick also. You mentioned that you had a group of gentlemen that were so supportive of you building the station. It's so important that people have a core group around them, right? Of people that you can learn from, people that can, educate you not only...
There was a lot of people.
Yeah, not only on the business, but about life and trust and what to look out for, because just like you mentioned, a lot of artists don't know anything about anything that goes out of recording in the booth. They don't know about the copyrights. They don't know about royalties. They don't know about, the paperwork that you really have to go through to protect yourself, to brand your name, to make sure, no one steals your content. What advice do you have to give to them? Because a lot of people look at their music as just a hobby, or some people are just, I just want to sing, I just want to rap, I just want to record. But there is a whole nother world behind the scenes that they need to be knowledgeable about. What do you have to say to them about that?
Well, utilize this internet. Back in the days, the internet wasn't available to us. So really, you had to go to the library to research stuff, or if you knew somebody that was in the industry, where if they would sit down and just bless you with the information that they knew, which I was very blessed to have that, from Henny being in sound, my cousin Tommy Gant from doing photography or videography for major TV stations, and then he went out on his own. So, I call him up even to today and ask them questions. So you can't be afraid to ask questions. If you closing your mouth and you're not asking these questions, then people are going to assume that you know.
Yes, that's so true.
So that's really the major thing to do. If you don't know, find somebody that does know, if you have access to them, or you just utilize the internet. YouTube has become my best friend, even though they deleted our account. But I found out why they did it, so I'm not upset, anymore. I understand why it was done. But YouTube, you put in anything in a sense, and somebody's always doing some type of tutorial or something for you to learn. So take advantage of it. It's out there. Nobody really should be going through this craziness. Because it's there now. It's
at our fingertips.
You don't have to go. You can go to your phone. Your phone is a computer.
Yes.
It's a mini computer. As well as phone, as well as a camera, as well as
calendar,
a scanner,
database.
Calendar. You can do videos
Everything.
on your phone. So the technology is there.
And do you have? I know that you're also doing KOM TV. Can you talk about that?
KOM TV came about in 2020 during the pandemic. We're exclusively on Roku TV right now. So it's just another way or market in order to get people's stuff out. their footage, their videos out. And it's set up just like your Netflix or your Hulu or you know. And this is, like I said, this is the changing of the world, the times that we are on now. So I just felt, you know, okay, let's not stop just at the radio. Let's have, you know, KOM. So myself and Pastor McDuffie are the owners of it. And you know, that's taken the time to build, you know, just like it took me time to build GS Radio and Glory Songs. So, but you know, with this going on now, I can focus a little bit more on a TV station. And you know, I mean, I've been doing stuff, but it's like, you know, some people, they say they don't never send it, and you know, it's part of it. So I understand it, but once we get rolling, then we gonna be rolling. So, but it's a good thing, you know. Another way that you could look at the shows if you have Roku TV or anything like that. So, but my big term goal plans is actually to put together a team to start filming like mini series and all that type stuff, you know, because like you look at Spectrum, you look at Roku, they have their own specials and they own this Discovery Channel. Basically, I look at different ones, but they have a whole network that they do, and they have their crews. So that's the ultimate goal for KOM, where we can just pump out our own stuff and get more people to go, you know. Take that from there.
So are you still looking for more shows? Like if someone's like, oh my gosh, well I love to cook, can I have a cooking show? Is there any more space available?
Yeah, I mean on KOM there's plenty of space. There's actually a limited amount of space for KOM. It's just to point out, like I said, if having a crew either to go out to do it, you know, that stuff costs. Or, you know, even having people that's really serious about it. You know, it's like, first, that's the first thing now. Are you really serious about it? Are you going to put the time in to actually do what needs to be done in order to make it happen? So, I mean, there's, you know, we could do cooking shows, we could do fitness shows, we could do car detailing shows. I mean, any type of show.
Yes, and the ministry shows as well is also part of the station.
Yeah, they up on KOM. I mean, the stuff that I do for the radio stations, I tell them that, you know, the visuals of it is extra. That's just an extra thing that happens. But if we don't use video, we still have the player on the website where we're a radio station. So that player makes us a 24-hour radio station. But we just add the vision because technology now, people wants to see
some visual
the
stimulus,
visuals, right, and put the voice with the face. So yeah, but if you're interested, you know, once again, just send, hit us up, gs.wkdr@gmail.com, and in the subject, just put KO in, you know, your information, and we'll, you know, sit down and talk to you and see what can happen.
Yes, and if anyone out there would like to be a sponsor for GS Radio, how can they do that? Listen, y'all, about to blow up, okay? Get in while you can before the prices go up.
You started.
Because all too often, you know, look how people were supposed to invest into Bill Gates, the Mac, right? Microsoft. A lot of times we have these billion-dollar, million-dollar opportunities, and we sit back like, oh, I'm gonna wait. Listen, honey, you may wait, and when you're done waiting, time's up. Slots are filled, prices jacked up before you could have gotten stock for, $1 a share. Now you got to pay like $500, $1,000 for one share. So, we are looking for sponsors. If you would like to get more information on how to be a sponsor on the show that airs, like CHOC said, to over 199 countries. Make sure that you email him, make sure that you contact him. Can you give your contact information again?
Just email gs.wkdr@gmail.com. I'm saying that because my phone, basically, I have that function on there. If your number is not in my phone, then it's not going to ring. It's just going to go to voicemail.
Okay.
So I'm telling you guys to, just email us. Email us.
Yes.
Put your phone number in there. Of course, we're going to have your email because you're emailing us. And just in the subject and in the body, just tell us what you want to discuss or what you want to talk about. And then we'll set up a time, email you back, set up a time for the call to be made. And then we'll take it like that. Or Zoom or, whatever it may be.
And my final question for you today, dealing with the total wellness, how on earth are you balancing the TV station, the radio station, your family life, your beautiful kids, your grandkids? How? And if you can feel the energy I feel, he is so humble. He's such a beautiful, humble man. He's so calm. He's so just peace. You don't feel energy and stress. You just feel like this calm, cool, chill CHOC whenever you're around him. Mm-hmm. How do you do it?
The first is God. I'm just going to give all the credit. It's God. I just learned how to multitask. And God is sending people now to assist me and help. With everything, with the growth of the company. But, I get that question a lot of times. How do you do it? You this and that, da. And it's also the point of, like, we talk about the kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes I bring them down here with me to actually see, like, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Even though they're young, you start planting seeds in them.
Yes.
Now, as saying, look, this is what happened. Mommy and daddy's at work, so now they call me Op. So now you're with Op, but Op has his own business.
Yeah.
So these are the things that have to be done in order for you guys to have fun. I can't get you candy or bubble gum or whatever, if Op is not making any money.
Yeah.
So then, they'll look, okay. And they went back, but I think a lot of people, especially, and I'm gonna say black people, don't take the time in order to instill that into their children.
Yes.
And when I thought about it, even when I got into this, my first business of my own was my DJing.
Yeah.
So, I was just really doing it, like I said, to get out the house because I was tired of my peers, or they went here, they went there, or my cousins and them, this and that, So I said, well, this is my way out. But business wise, that was and still is my first business.
Yeah, your first love too.
Yeah, well, music, but business wise, where I was making money from it, basically. I mean, music, drums, still drums. We traveled everywhere,
Wow.
So I just feel people took the time to instill things into me.
Yeah.
I can instill them into my grandkids, my children. My children even help me with what's going on. Shout out to Erica, shout out to Sean, shout out to DJ, Reggie. Shout out to the Queen Bee, Venice. They everybody helps. Look, they don't know it. But everybody helps, some way, somehow, when you really sit back and you think about it. And I think the key is that once they see you dedicated into what you're doing, then they don't mind coming and assisting you when you want.
Yeah.
And you know, so like I said, kids run around. Once we downtime, like now, they're basically upstairs chilling.
Yeah.
You know, but once I finish, then you hear the footsteps running back and forth. So they know I've got a show.
Aww.
You know, but you know, that's how we do it. You know, and then sometimes I just step back, breathe. Like I said, now I'm just blessed with people coming and wanting to do it. And it's really it's helping me out. It's like let me loose out a little bit, but it's also allowing me to focus on other things as well. So.
And do you have any relationship advice? Because a lot of times, and I'm gonna call us out, ladies, I'm gonna call us out. You have a woman, you know, she loves her man, but you know, a lot of arguments happen because they don't have that quality of time. They don't, so it can just be like, oh, you're always working, or we don't do this. Like, do you have any tips and pointers for that? Or anything to tell the ladies, like in supporting?
Well, you know, you just have to, first of all, be prayed up. Everybody don't see your vision, even your other half. You know, God put that vision in you, but they didn't put it in your other half. So it's kind of hard to get that person to see the full vision of it. Like, you know, it's been plenty of times I wanted to stop when I first started this. I was started in my aunt's basement with it, and it's like, because of the arguments, because of the other situations in life, I don't know, like, forget it. I don't, you know, it's too much, but I heard that voice, keep going, keep going, keep going. And you just have to stand, you know, firm. If you really want to do this, you know, God rest my father's soul, he said, you know, get a job, you need a 9 to 5, this and that. And I'm like, to me, there's no plan B. This is it. Especially once Miles came along, this is it. Because, like now, if a phone call comes in and something happened to him, I don't have to answer to nobody. I just say, okay, we on the way, and I'm gone. I don't have to say, boss, you know, my child is this and that, I gotta go. No, I don't have to do that. You know, so you gotta. It's gonna be rough. And be prepared for the ups and downs. Like I said, when I started this, it was supposed to be this, that, boom, boom, boom. No, it was just ups and downs, and downs. It's still going through ups and downs, even though He's blessed me to come to this stage of it. As far as with the women, or men, you know. Sometimes just put your feelings to the side and watch your mate, and as far as what he or she is doing. I think that some people get caught up on what they want when that's not what's supposed to be for the other person.
That's right.
And I think this is where it comes in with the conversation, because you know, I'm not going to allow me and the missus, she wanted me to get a 9 to 5 too, got a baby, this and that, da. And I'm thankful for all the people that happened. But when the pandemic came up, and I said,
see, if you had it,
if I wouldn't have started this, who would have known if I would have been able still to have a job? You know, so it was like, I didn't know it then. We didn't know we was going to go into pandemic back in 2010. But 10 years later here, this is what we're facing. And people still could do their shows remotely.
Yes.
And, you know, this was for me. The 9 to 5 wasn't for me. I mean, I had jobs before, KPMG, out in the corporate world. I used to work with kids, 3 to 5 years old. I think that's where I get my calmness from. The patience. I mean, I'm calm, but you know, we dealing with kids.
It's a different level.
It's a different level. You know, shout out to my mom. May she rest in peace too. She went into that when I was 3 years old. So there's a lot of teaching with that. I used to volunteer, but you have to. I think that's one of the biggest things that has to be done, is that when you don't see a vision and you see that a person or your other half is serious about this, then just somehow support him or her. You know, without all of the argument. You know, in a sense. I mean, you're going to argue. I'm not going to say it, because any entrepreneur, you have to understand these companies that you're like you said, Microsoft, Apple, those guys, even in clothing, Nike, this and that, they had to do what they had to do in order to get to the point where they're at now, which means they was an entrepreneur at first. Shout out to my brother from another Nikhil. We talk like this all the time. He has his own detailing business, spotless car care, and his own products. But it's, you know, we talk because, you know, the situations, you know, with
it's common,
you know, and it's like if we don't get out here and do it, we don't make no money.
But you want your hair done, you want this, you want that. Well, he gotta work.
I have to put in the long hours. I mean, it was times where I would get up, you know, to get Miles and stuff ready for school, 6:30, 7 o'clock. But then I won't be done down here until like 2 o'clock, 2:30. And have to get up at 6 o'clock again.
Wow.
And now with the world opening up, with DJing again, you know, so it's like,
it's a lot.
It's a constant thing. But when you see, you know, what your work has done and where you came from, I tell everybody all the time. You know, it's a blessing, but this is what hard work, you know, entails. And now I guess now it's like, wow, okay. You know, some people don't see the vision. They would never see the vision fully. But, you know, to walk in and, you know, like this studio is totally different from the other studio. And, you know, everybody that walks in is like, wow.
It's gorgeous. It's amazing. You did an incredible job, man.
I was going to put the records, but I said, nah, let me do something totally different. But then I like this one because the missus was involved and her friends was involved and they go shopping and they hitting me up. Like all this stuff, you know, certain stuff, out and about. It was like, we got this and that, we're gonna get it for you. Okay, get it. So it was just like refreshing to say, okay, so you know, so everybody has their touch in it.
And you see, did you notice how his face just lit up when he said the missus was involved? We are created by God to be our spouse's helpmeet. You know, that's what the Bible says. As a Christian, that's what the Word of God says. You know, the woman is supposed to be the helpmeet. So it's very important to support your spouse. Yes, we do help each other. Even if it's the shoes on the other foot. If she's the entrepreneur, you should support.
Like they got their little business going on. You know, doing all the decorating and all that stuff. And I'm gonna put it out there, you know.
There's always something you can do to support it. You know. So it's very important to, when you do choose your spouse, be mindful of all of these things. Be mindful
that's a
of
whole
all
nother
these
story.
things. That is another show.
That's a whole nother story.
What's our time?
That's a whole nother story.
11.
We could. That's a whole nother story.
It
is. I mean, you can learn. You could be with your spouse for 15, 20 years and still learn something new.
Things
15
always,
to 20 years later.
Always growing.
That's another show.
Yes. So thank you guys so much. Thank you all for watching today. I hope you learned a lot of information. Make sure you check out the show. Make sure you visit the website. And like we mentioned earlier, if you'd like to be a sponsor, if you're an artist looking for some promotion to be able to be on the Unsigned Hype, make sure that you send CHOC an email.
Gospel too.
Yes.
Our gospel station is glorysongs.net.
Yes.
Glorysongs.net. So, you know, gospel music, preaching if you want to. We have, you know, as they say, GS Radio is the secular station, and Glory Songs is the gospel. So recover
everything. Yes, there's a place for you somewhere. Yes. But thank you so much, CHOC.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so
Thank
much
you.
for being on the show.
Thank you.
And stay tuned. Total Wellness airs every Wednesday at 8 o'clock, only on GS Radio and KOM TV. So thank you all for watching, and once again, thank you, CHOC.
You're welcome. Thank you.
God bless.